You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family. Well, hi everyone. The following is a promo for what will probably be the final Horselovers Cruise. If you were at all interested in taking a cruise with fellow horse lovers, time is of the essence because there's a limited number of cabins and they will book quickly. More on that later. Now off on an adventure cruise to Alaska. Well, hi, everybody. We're back. Glenn the Geek here, founder of the Horse Radio Network and host of Horses in the Morning. And the following is a Horse Radio Network special episode all about the 2026 Horse Radio Network Cruise. We all had such a great time on the last ones. I mean, this is number 5 or 6, I think. And we're doing it again in 2026. Join fellow horse lovers from around the country on a fabulous 7-night Royal Caribbean cruise starting May 22nd, 2026 in Alaska. This is, you've all requested Alaska. That's all you could talk about the last time we were on the cruise. So that's what we're doing. We're doing this for you guys. In this special episode, with the help of our travel agent, Vicky from Beyond Imagination Vacations, you will learn all the details about the cruise and we'll answer many of the questions that first-time cruisers always have. And I've noticed some of those coming in already. Now, this time, pay special attention. Booking is different this year. If for those of you that have been on every cruise in the past, it's going to be different this year because, well, we'll explain why. But you can't wait long to book. I know a lot of you waited 6 months to book. We can't do that this time, and we'll explain why in just a second. So, Vicky, thank you so much for joining me again today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited about this cruise.
It seems like yesterday we were just on the cruise ship, but time flies. And we had such a great time last time on one of the very large ships for Royal Caribbean. This one is, the ship we're taking is Ovation of the Seas. It leaves May 22nd, 2026 out of Seward, Alaska. And the itinerary we chose, and the reason we chose this itinerary for a couple of reasons. One was that everybody will fly into Anchorage. We have listeners in Anchorage who are into horses. And Jennifer and I have done this exact itinerary on a much smaller ship. This is a much nicer ship than we did it on. But we're going to spend a couple days, or this will allow you to spend a couple of days in Alaska before we take the cruise and kind of head back to Vancouver, Canada was where it ends, and everybody flies home from there. But it gives you the opportunity to run around Alaska ahead of time and do as much as you want. You could go a week ahead and rent a car or do whatever you want around Alaska. We will have a horsey day. So one of the days before the cruise, and we'll iron all of that out, we're going to hang out with Emily, who's one of our auditors in Alaska, and she has draft horses and minis. And I already talked to her, and she said, yeah, I'll take you guys around, and we'll show you the horses, and we can do a horsey thing in Anchorage on one of the days before the cruise. So we'll work all of that out. And then we took the train. This was one of our favorite things about the Alaska trip was from Anchorage to Seward, which is about 4 hours on train.
2 hours. Yeah. It's the Alaskan Railroad, I believe.
It was one of the most beautiful train trips we've ever taken. And we've taken train trips all over the place. It was gorgeous. I mean, it was beautiful. It was one of our favorite things of the whole trip was that train trip down. So there's a lot that we'll talk about today. We'll mainly be talking about the cruise and the importance of getting the cruise booked, and then we'll work on later with those that have booked as far as hotels in Anchorage and you guys will.
Anything that you want to sightsee? I actually have some connections in Alaska and Anchorage myself, as far as if you want to set up some excursions or something to look at. Yeah.
So today we'll focus on the cruise, and keep in mind that whatever we talk about today, your flights are separate. However, I did take a look at May of this year. You couldn't look at flights for next year in May yet. But I took a look at May of this year, and of course this will change. But it was cheaper. It was like $500 for us to fly to Alaska. It cost Jennifer more to fly to Harrisburg. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. It was so much cheaper, these flights, for the long distance than it was for some of the short distance stuff we've done recently. I don't know. I can't figure out airline rates.
There's no rhyme or reason anymore.
There really isn't. There really isn't. So I don't know that flights are going to be a limiting factor is what I'm saying. So it might be a lot less expensive than you think. And I probably will be May till we can book May flights next year, right?
Usually about a year out, yes.
But there, and I know that we flew through Seattle last time. Most of them go through Chicago or Seattle or out West Coast or Vancouver even and up.
Right, for the cruises that start. But this one, like you said, starts in Seward and then it'll end in Vancouver. You can certainly fly back home from Vancouver, or you can even cross back into the border and take it to Seattle. It's not that bad as well.
And when we came back into Vancouver, it's a very easy port, and we just caught an Uber to the airport and we flew out. I mean, it worked pretty well. It was a pretty seamless thing. Vancouver's not a big port. For all of those that have been,
you might have some people that want to spend a few days in Vancouver too.
It's pretty.
You never know. That's an option as well. It's just,
it's very pretty. I mean, it was pretty from what we saw of it. It was gorgeous, actually. I wish we would have spent a couple days in Vancouver. So so what we're looking at is Royal Caribbean Ovation of the Seas, which is a Quantum class ship. The last ship we were on, for all those that were along, was an Oasis class. That's a very, 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 very large ship with about 6,000 passengers. This one's in about 4,000 range, but it's one of the newer class of ships. And you were on one of these, right?
I was several years ago, and it's royal. It's very nice, but there's a few changes. I mean, obviously, too, you're in the colder climate, so having the aqua show is not going to happen anyway, but that's not on the ship. And there's no skating rink, but there are other activities and things that you can do. And the restaurants are similar that are on it. But one thing I really liked was the North Star, which is
I think I might be able to show that. Let me bring up the picture.
You get in it, and you can do it when you're at port or at sea, and you go up above the ship. I'll have to send you a picture I took when I was in it above the ship. I got a picture of the whole ship. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Here, you can see it above our pictures here. You can see that little thing, arm sticking out.
Yeah. It goes around. It goes fully around.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
This was what we've done. I don't know, lots of cruises, as you guys know, and Jennifer and I, and we did Norway and the fjords, which was absolutely beautiful. But Alaska is still our favorite cruise of all the ones we've done. There's nothing like it.
No, it's beautiful for sure.
And I know some of you, when we posted the initial post about this, were complaining because it wasn't a warm Caribbean cruise. I look at this differently. This is more of an adventure cruise. This is not about going bathing suits on the beach or, we didn't spend 1 minute in the pool because we were first of all, you get a balcony. That's one thing because you're in the inner passage the whole way. So 90% of the way you're on the inner passage. So there are mountains and sites on both sides of the ship almost the whole way. It was a completely different experience. You're not out to sea like you are in a Caribbean ship.
Correct. Great. Yeah. And you can bring binoculars. I would highly suggest it. And we'll get into all that, once people book, but I would definitely bring them and suggest that you get a balcony cabin. There are plenty of spots if you don't want a balcony cabin that you can go sit and look out as well. But it's just nice to open that door and in your robe or pajamas and coat and watch it.
Now, a couple of people have asked why we picked May. We did this exact same time when we did ours, and it's what's called the shoulder season. So that's not high season. It's kind of at the either side, but the beginning and the end are called the shoulder season. One is it's chilly but not cold. I mean, it was chilly when we were there, but there were some warmer days too, actually.
Correct.
But we picked this. One is the crowds aren't as bad because crowds can get bad at some of these cruise ports in the summertime. And to be honest, we're going to Alaska. We wanted to be chilly and not hot, right? So bugs in Alaska can be a problem. And we were there before the bugs, and it was almost perfect. It was like in the 60s every day. We'd sit out in the balcony with our coats on and our coffee. It was just, I don't know, it was kind of magical that way.
Yeah. The season pretty much is May to September. And earlier on, like in May, there's more chance of the whales and the migration and stuff. And then sometimes in the fall, of course, nothing's guaranteed. You may see the northern lights. Now, you could see them in May too, but it's more viewable in the fall. But if the whales and the nature is what you want to see, you want to go early on. And like you said, kids are still in school and stuff. So it's definitely a less busy time in May.
Yeah. So that's why we picked May. That's why we did that particular time of year. You probably won't get caught in a snowstorm in Anchorage at the end of May. You should be fine. So we weren't there freezing when we were there in May.
I mean, anything can happen, but
Yeah.
most likely, yeah.
So that's why we picked the time that we did. So as I said, it leaves from Seward, which if you look at a map, Anchorage is here, Seward is here, and Anchorage is not on the water, Seward is. So you leave from there, and then it's a 7-night cruise down. We stop at the Hubbard Glacier. We pass that, actually. You see that from the ship. They do a 360 usually in front of the glacier. So it's very cool what they do there. You get fairly close to it, actually. And then Juneau, we stop there. Skagway is where the train is. There's a train ride there that you got to take. It's just because it goes through the mountains and it's cool. I mean, it's just cool. Icy Strait Point, we didn't do that one. Did you stop there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't stopped there either. There's a cruising day, and then we end up back in Vancouver. So it's a 7-night cruise, the cruise itself, and then whatever days you want to add in Alaska, ahead of time is up to you guys. But there's the difference now that for the veteran cruisers out there, or for the not veteran cruisers out here, there's a difference this time. Normally, Vicky can book a group and reserves a bunch of rooms at a certain rate. So kind of explain why we can't do that this year and what the difference is.
Yeah. Alaska is a hot seller, obviously. So Royal and probably any cruise line limits the number of groups that can be held for those sailings because they know they're going to sell them. So we can't do a group rate, but no problem. I can still put you all together for dinner. That's not an issue. So you'll be fine with that. But I have been able to put a few cabins on hold right now. But like Glenn said, there would be some urgency because they only hold them right now through the 24th of February. If a deposit's received, then you're good. But if a deposit's not received, my hold will cancel. Now I can hold more, but right now I've got a variety of cabins on hold. The good thing with the group not being able to do a group rate, though, is on a group, you can only really do 2 people cabins. And I can't do connecting rooms. I can't do junior suites, anything like that. But here I can get you any type of cabin that you may want. So I have put a few connecting cabins on hold, a few junior suites on hold, and the rest I did all ocean view balcony. I did not put any inside cabins on hold, but they are available if somebody would want one.
Now, it is a little bit more expensive when you do Alaska because, one, it's popular. The ships tend to be smaller because of the ports. You can't bring the Oasis class ships through. They just don't fit, and they just don't allow them basically in some of these ports. So I think Jennifer and I, when we booked a balcony cabin, a standard balcony cabin on the kind of outside of the ship, like about the 7th floor or 8th floor, I think. And it was a little over $4,000, including the taxes and fees and tips, if I remember right, for the 2 of us.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's about $4,300 for the gratuities, the port fees, and travel insurance.
And right now, they would need $500 down. So that's what your deposit is for the cabin.
For the balcony, right?
Yeah.
For a balcony, it depends if you like the suites world has changed it. It's now a percentage, so it's like $900 and some for a suite. But for an ocean view balcony, it's $500, and it is refundable.
Well, that's the next thing. If you're thinking about doing this at all, because the rates will change. If you wait a month to book this, and if she can get a room, that's one thing. Rooms they're selling out. There's probably, from what I saw, I kind of went through the ship yesterday, and there may have been 120 rooms available. I mean, there's not a lot. So you have to make, if you think you're going to go at all, book the room and get the deposit in. And if you have to cancel later, right?
Right. Yes. It's full. And if the deposit would be fully refundable, now that is not true for junior suites. But for regular ocean view balconies, it is fully refundable. And if you should make any payments prior to final payment date, which is February something of next year, that would be refundable as well.
Yeah, you told me, I think, middle of February next year.
I wrote it down.
And what that means is that you can pay Vicky a monthly amount. You can do whatever you want as long as the final payment's made by February of next year.
Right.
And you can cancel anytime up to final payment date, too.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
actually, we've always done that. We've always done the monthly kind of payments, up until that point, and it's worked out great. I mean, it's less of a burden. Obviously, book your flights when you can, and when you're able to do that. And earlier better for flights now, or it's just a...
I kind of watch them. I use an app. Let me see what it's called. It is
What do
called
you use?
Hopper.
Hopper?
It's an app, and you can put in your dates of travel, and then you can watch them, and then it'll tell you to wait. It'll tell you book now. It'll tell you to, hey, prices will probably go down. So I use that. I don't book my flights through there, but I use it to watch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What flights I'm on.
I didn't know about that one. That's learned something today.
I'm traveling in a few months myself, and I happen to look, and it seems like Wednesday's flights usually go down in price. From the trend I've seen now, not to Alaska because I'm booking to go to Florida, but it's like, who knows, but if you track it through Hopper, I think you'll be happy with that. And then just book it through the regular airline. Now, Royal does offer airfare if that's something you wanted to do. I don't necessarily believe it's the best option to do it.
We did that through Holland America when we did our Norway cruise, and I have to say that I wish we hadn't.
I tend to agree.
Because it just made it a little bit more complicated when our flights got canceled. It was...
I mean, they will take care of you, but it's you have to reach out to them. You can't just go right to the airline.
Yeah, it was more complicated.
It is. I think so.
Yeah. So I'm showing, there's the picture of the ship. There's Ovation of the Seas for those that are watching the video. By the way, if you're listening to this audio, the videos will be available on our Horselovers Cruise page on Facebook. You can join that if you're at all interested. I would join that. That's where we'll put all the information about the cruise. And it'll also be on our auditor page there as well. But there's that, what you call North Star? There. That's quite a shot, huh?
It is. It's beautiful being up in there. But when you're in, let me think. When you're in port, I believe it's free, but when you're at sea, there's a charge.
And this is an excursion trip. Excursions are extra, but you don't have to do excursions at these ports. It's entirely up to you. It's like any of the Caribbean ports. You can do excursions or not. It's up to you. You could do this sailing to see the scenery from the ship, and it would be worth it because you would never have to leave the ship. It'd be worth it.
And if you're an experienced cruiser, if you get off at the port, there are always excursions being sold right there at the port that are cheaper. You just want to make sure you get back to the ship on time. But as long as you're very careful with that, you can save some money that way a little bit as well.
You will see glaciers, several of them on this trip. And one of the nice things about May is there's still snow all over the tops of the mountains, which is kind of one of the other reasons that we picked May was because of the snow. We wanted to, make sure there still was some. So yeah,
and there's a solarium there. You see those people there. So there is the indoor adult only area. Well, that's not in the solarium, but yeah, there is a covered pool area if somebody does want to.
I see. In the one we had, the smaller ship, there was not, which was there was no going in the pool. So yeah, I'm glad there's a solarium that's covered. That's probably pretty popular. All right, I'm going to remove that for now. So yeah, there you go. Here's a couple of pictures just for those that are watching. Sorry for those that are listening. This is a couple of pictures that we took, and we were on a much smaller ship. You'll see the size of the ship that I just showed you, and that was, I even forget which Regent, maybe I forget which one it was, but it was.
Well, I don't know I can't read that.
Yeah, I can't either, but it was much smaller. That's a picture I took when we were in port. We took several train trips on this. We just love the train trips. This is the one you can take in Skagway.
Right.
So we had fun.
I highly recommend that too as well. Yeah.
And
you do need a passport. There is. You do need a passport because you do go into Canada on this, and you will need a passport anyway for the cruise itself. But for this train ride, you do need a passport.
Here's Emily, the one I told you about that lives in Alaska, one of our super fans and auditors. She she took us for a ride with the draft horses, and then we met. If you remember, Ice Road trucker Lisa Kelly. She was a listener of ours, and we met her above Anchorage, and she took us up to her farm, and we had a great time with her that day. And then I got to drive my first Mini that day, little tiny Mini. It's the only Mini I've ever driven. It was hilarious, little legs going 90 miles an hour. But we had a great time with Lisa Kelly there too. So it was just so much fun. It's still, as I said, our favorite cruise that we've ever done. I'm excited to do another one with friends because, when you do these cruises with people, it just makes it so much better. It really does.
And the experience.
I was shocked, even on the Oasis class ship, which was, again, bigger than this one by 2,000, 2,500 people. We saw our group all day, every day. You'd see them around the ship. How is that? I mean, the ship is huge, and yet you still see people all day long. It's crazy.
It's funny. Well, you all have the same interest in the bar, maybe? No.
Yeah, we did see a lot of them at the bar, actually. But it was fun. We had dinner together. We're going to do the things we always do in these cruises. There'll be a ladies' night where they go do fun, play games together, and then the guys go do it. We always get the question, what about my husband who's not a horse person? Well, everybody brings their horse husband that's not necessarily a horse person. So we get to hang out together and talk. I love meeting the horse husbands. We spend one night where we go out together and ditch you guys. So, there's other horse husbands. So, that's one of the nice things about the Horselovers Cruises is you guys can talk horses. We can not talk horses. So we can talk other stuff. So it gives them somebody to hang out with. There's plenty of shows. There's still shows on this ship. It's not like there isn't. Royal Caribbean has the best shows out there. So there's still all kinds of shows, comedians, all that stuff exists on this ship. Food, it's still your bunch of free things you can eat at all across the ship. This is a good sized ship, so there's all kinds of restaurants. We'll eat dinner together every night in the dining room, or if you want to go to the buffet, you can do that. Or there's specialty restaurants. I know some of our group did specialty restaurants last time. So all of those things exist on this ship too. I think there's something like a dozen restaurants. I mean, there's a lot. So, and there's 11 bars, and there's plenty to do. So you don't have to worry about that. That won't be a problem. Plus, this is a port-intensive trip.
Correct. Right. And one thing I know we had talked about, like the drink packages and things, which are not included, obviously. I always advise clients when you're going to Alaska, I don't necessarily think I would do an alcoholic drink package because if you do plan on doing excursions, you're going to be off the ship all day long. So you can just buy yourself your drinks in the evening if that's what you're going to do, because you can judge it yourself, but I don't think it's worth it.
It's not like the last trip where we had multiple sea days where we're all hanging around by the pool all day. Yeah.
Right. So you have to weigh that out. Now, I don't think it's worth getting an alcohol package because you're going to be doing excursions, and you're probably going to come back and be tired. So you're going to eat, probably have a few drinks, and go to bed and get up early again the next day.
So you have these rooms booked. What's the best way for them to contact you?
They can email me at Vicky, Vicky, at beyondimaginationvacations.com, or they can call me. I think most of you have my phone number. It's 864-275-8570.
And we'll put those in the show notes as well, so that you'll have them right there in your show notes. If you're watching the video, it'll be above in the notes right above the video.
I'm on the Horselovers Cruise page as well. So you can, if you can't get a hold of me, you can just tag me and be like, hey, Vicky. Reach out to me.
If you're not a member of the Horselovers Cruise page, it's Horselovers Cruise Horse Radio Network. Search for that on Facebook. Join that page. I highly recommend that. If you're thinking about coming at all, just join the page, because that's where we'll have all the information and everything about the cruise will be posted there throughout till we take the cruise. That's where we communicate. So definitely join that page if you're remotely interested. And we had one engagement last time, didn't we? I think.
There was.
Yeah, there was. That's right. Yeah, there was one engagement last time.
There was a baby, not from the same person, but there was a baby. Because there was a pregnant person.
Yeah, Ashley was along, and she had her baby since then. So
Yep.
yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We'll have a great time, and looking forward to doing it with all of you. So get a hold of Vicky, book your rooms. That's the first thing here today. We'll worry about the other stuff as far as the hotels. We'll have a designated hotel in Anchorage for the night or two before the cruise, and booking the train from Anchorage down and everything. We'll worry about all of that later. We need to get your rooms booked so you can get a room. Otherwise, it'll be a moot point. So
Right. There's pretty good rates right now that I have on hold. So I would advise it. And like I said, your deposit's fully refundable, except if you're in a junior suite, then Royal takes a percentage of that now. But for an ocean view balcony, it's refundable.
Which reminds me, Vicky, hold on, because I have to give my credit card for our deposit too.
I know,
so.
I made a note to myself over here.
Okay, so hold on, don't hang up. Don't hang up. All right, thank you, everybody. We look forward to seeing you in Alaska.